When we acknowledge the awesomeness inside of us, we can ripple the inspirational perspective out into the whole world. This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to Paradigm Shift Radio, episode 116, Practical Tips for Being Awesome. In this conscious community discussion, we invited numerous callers onto the air to take part in sharing their practical suggestions and perspectives of what it means to be awesome, and simple ideas to help us see, practice, and understand it in new ways. Partway through the episode, we were joined by our good friend and flowetry artist Philosophical, who shares some of his own inspirational awesome creations, followed by some freestyle group flowetry in the moment. A key to being awesome is knowing that you already are. Consciously tap into that and be a beacon of awesomeness for those around you. Tell others you know about Paradigm Shift Radio, help build conscious community where you are. Tune in again for future episodes and enjoy the flow. One love. It's time to sync up and step into our potential once again. Welcome, international friends. This is your good buddy Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, aka Skull the Wolf, joining you here for another consciousness-shifting, mind-expanding, inspirational episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. So, of course, welcome everyone who is tuning in wherever you are, whenever you are. Those of you who may be new listeners to Paradigm Shift Radio, it is always a pleasure to be able to get more people synced up with this community-created show, which is a lot of what will be happening here on tonight's episode. Now, getting right into the conversation topic, tonight's episode is about practical tips for being awesome. And of course, we can talk a little bit about what it means to be awesome. We can talk about how we have experienced our own ways of finding the awesomeness within ourselves. And there's so many different ways to answer this question, and we want to be able to invite you guys to get synced up with what this project is about, which is the opportunity for you to be able to use this show as a platform to share your voice with a global audience. So, of course, for those of you who haven't checked out, well, first of all, as I'm just going over the basis, if I can get an 1111 from somebody in the live chat to confirm that we are broadcasting loud and clear and that you guys can hear me, that would be beautiful. And shout out to everybody who is in the live chat. We got about 21 users as it is. And, of course, reminding everyone, while the show is still getting kicked off, to invite their friends. If you haven't yet, let your friends know on social media that you are tuned into Paradigm Shift Radio right now. And those of you who are new to the show, this is going to be a good one. There's going to be a lot of substance in this. There's going to be a lot of awesome people calling in from all over the world, and there's going to be a lot of inspiration that is going to come out of this, which is essentially what this form of conscious media is about. It is about remembering. It is about stepping into our remembrance of our potential to co-create within this reality, to be able to create our perception of this reality and to be able to help share that perception with others, to be able to help inspire, to be able to help empower them. So those of you who aren't familiar, check out, and of course, thank you for the 1111, there it is. Shout out, guys. You guys are doing awesome so far. Those of you who aren't familiar, of course, check out the main website at ParadigmShiftCentral.com. There you will find all the past episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio, all 116 episodes on YouTube and MP3 for your convenience, so you can take Paradigm Shift with you on your MP3 player, listen to it while riding the bus and like just going from place A to place B. I love podcasts, and it's a pleasure to be able to make one that a lot of people out there enjoy. And of course, you can find some original full-length consciousness shifting movies, such as a Journey to Lucidity movie, including Journey to Lucidity 2. The sequel for that is available. You can find the link for the GoFundMe page through the main website. And of course, you can find all sorts of other inspirational media, including the most recent free hug/hacking the Matrix video that was co-created by myself and our beautiful good friend Jessica Starshine, who is actually joining us once again live in studio. We're gonna bring her on in the next few seconds. And of course, through the main website, you have the opportunity to be able to engage with shifters from all across the world. One of the main emphasis of this project is that we want to be able to encourage people to create physical communities where they are, to be able to help create physical paradigm shift communities where they are. These already exist all over the globe. I myself am with Paradigm Shift London, Ontario, Canada, and we have regular open-minded discussion meditation circles every Friday, every week in a yoga studio. This show is a continuation of that same concept, to be able to help create space where we as consciousness can talk about the things that we don't normally get to talk about, yet are so eagerly drawn to, those things that we hunger for. We hunger for just like delving deeper into the mysteries of the universe, and also to be able to help share what we have found with one another. This is an awesome place to be able to do that. So you can find the live chat on the main website, reminding everyone if you're outside of the show, outside of the live broadcast of the show, which has its own live chat, be sure to check out the live chat through the main website, and you can find that at paradigmcentral.com/live chat, but the links are all over there. You won't be able to miss it. It's super, super accessible, and that is the basis of what this project is about. So definitely encouraging people to sync up, explore the website, enjoy the conscious media on there, be inspired with it, be inspired by it. This show goes hand in hand with it, and we're gonna get right into this, and I know we're gonna have some callers pretty early onto the show. Let me just double check my technical side of things. Yeah, so we'll let you know once we get some callers into the show, but of course inviting people to call in now, inviting people to share their practical tips. And I got a list here. You know, I was just making this list, and once I started getting a couple things, it's just like, oh, this is obvious. You know, this is just like easy stuff that's like kind of so obvious that we overlook it. But then you get the other things that are kind of cool that we don't normally get reminded of. So we're going to be hitting upon a lot of topics related to mindfulness, topics related to higher understandings of this reality, topics related to manifestation, topics related to health. Lucid dreaming is always a topic that that is popular and worth going back to. Topics just being able to understand our own energies, how things work, being able to understand the system, the matrix that we exist within, so that we can flow through it with more grace, more growth, and more ease. So Starshine is sitting here next to me, and I'm gonna give her the microphone. So Jessica, say hello to the internet once again.
Hello, internet, once again.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Awesome.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica. This show is practice for everyone, and you're doing great so far. I had you on the show the last couple episodes, and it's a pleasure to be able to have you live in studio once again. And I think, should we tell them that you're going to sing a song later in the episode? Should they know that yet? Is that going to happen?
I guess it just happened. Yeah. Sure, why not?
Jessica is going to demonstrate some of the practical tips of creativity, and she's going to share an awesome song that she's been working on. So you'll hear it, even if it's like the other new one that you haven't played, opposed to the new one. Yeah. Opposed to the one that we just started writing yesterday. So, okay. So, getting into this topic, and again, just reminding people that if they want to call in, you can call in through Skype by pressing the Skype button, which is located in the Blog Talk Radio link, or call in through the guest call-in number at 347-539-5493. Again, that's 347-539-5493. And there's other stuff that we'll update you on a little bit later in the show. And just as a prelude, going to have some good buddies calling in. Our buddy Philosophical is going to be joining us about halfway through the show, so you expect to hear some of his work, some of his creative expression that he's got to share. That's just going to inspire you more about the whole themes of being awesome. So, okay.
Take a breath.
Exactly. Take a practical tip to being awesome. Step 1, take a breath.
Breathe.
Breathe, right? If you're not breathing, how can you do anything else? So, in terms of practical tips for being awesome, I've got a list of things here, and I'm just gonna share what was at the top of my list, and then Jessica's got a few things, and we're gonna keep our eyes open for a first caller, and once they're ready to call in, we'll bring them on, and of course, again, just inviting anyone who wants to call in. Let's see what we can co-create through this episode together. So, the top of my list in terms of practical tips for being awesome. One of the first things that I wrote down is very simple. It is being inspired. Being inspired is such a key part in terms of being awesome. If you lack inspiration, then you lack what essentially could be that initial spark that helps motivate you and propels you. So it's important to be able to be inspired, and also to be able to recognize how inspiration will play a role in you being able to help remind people of their own awesomeness. So being inspired means being inspired by things such as this radio show, being inspired by all of the content that's out there on the internet these days that is just bringing all this esoteric knowledge up to the surface and helping spark our remembrance in a lot of interesting ways. Being inspired means watching an amazing movie that reminds you of the magical aspects of this reality. Being inspired can be whatever it is to you. It can be music. It is being able to just like acknowledge and have gratitude for a creative expression that somebody else is putting forth that is their representation of being awesome, and also the creative expression of the universe. Being inspired could be standing in front of a sunset and seeing that and being like, wow, like there it is, there's the awesome, there's the awesomeness. So that's just kind of the umbrella, and we're just going to really hit through a lot of these, and they're all going to sync back in. It's going to create this nice web. So I'm going to pass this over to Jessica, because what we want to be able to do in terms of being able to define what it means to be awesome, let's sort of break down the meaning of the word awesome and what that actually means. And again, at the top of my list, I put it as one of the practical tips to being awesome is to realize that you already are. It goes back to the simple idea of realizing that, holy crap, like this isn't just some mundane reality. Like we are the fractalated tendrils looking into itself. Like we are consciousness experiencing itself in a unique way that's never done, and it exists in this amazing ocean of energy and vibrance and colors and flowers and songs and sunsets and beautiful things all around us, and we are that. The awesomeness is already inside of us. So a practical tip there is to know that you already are awesome. But yes, Jessica, passing it over to you. When you think of the word awesome and being awesome, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, just like going based on what the dictionary tells us of the word, it's an adjective meaning causing or inducing awe, inspiring an overwhelming feeling of reverence, admiration, or fear. And again, playing off of what you were saying about sunsets, flowers, blossoming, looking at, we have those moments with nature when we're in awe, when there's no words and we're still and we're one with our breath. And your first point of inspiration, is the breath. It's breathing in your magnificence. And actually, it's funny, following the flow of synchronicity at the top of my list is the first thing is to be you. Be authentically you and not being afraid of that. And I mean, based on what the dictionary is saying, it's kind of like facing your own, facing yourself as a creator, as a spark of God, as a spark of source, as a spark of all of creation, and seeing the sunset within yourself, allowing yourself to express that sunset or that sunrise, allowing yourself to express that song or that rhythm or that thing that makes you unique and special, that thing that lights your own fire of inspiration within yourself, of and for yourself, but also of and for everyone else.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, like I like that. Like, again, like being awesome, like the awness of nature. The awness is the part that makes you go like, wow, So like when you see a guy like base jump off a huge cliff, there's a part of us that just goes, whoa, So I mean, it's being able to see that everywhere. And that's something that takes a little bit of conditioning. It takes a little bit of reprogramming to be able to do, because I think a lot of the awesomeness of this reality for many of us, as we were going through a process of awakening, was hidden in plain sight in a lot of ways. So that's a little bit later down on my list, was sort of the practicalness of being able to be aware of topics related to higher awareness, related to like sacred geometry and Fibonacci's and fractals and infinities, and being able to literally experience the connection and the understanding of the awesomeness that is already in front of us and around us, relating back to our interconnectedness, which goes into the bigger picture. So we'll get a little bit more into that. And I'm just going to go over a couple more things, and then we have a caller from area code 708, and we're going to bring him on, or a mystery caller on. We're going to bring that person on. I don't know who it is. I swear. We're going to bring that person on in the next couple minutes. So just the couple other things that I have at the top of my list. So similar to Jessica, one of the things at the top of my list, this is a very important one. Practical tip for being awesome is to be Shelby. Shelby is my German Shepherd male dog, and I just wanted to give a shout out to him because he's awesome. And I pretty much said, so practical tip for being awesome, be Shelby, be my dog, or if you can't be my dog, then do the next best thing and be yourself. So, I figured that's pretty relatable for a lot of people. But again, dogs are awesome. There's so much we can learn from the awesomeness of dogs that we can relate to. So the other things at the top of my list, in not a particular order, but just sort of going over them, is be forgiving to yourself and others. This is a huge thing about being awesome. So when we talk about being awesome, we want to talk about being able to be obviously like loving, and we want to be able to talk about the ability to move through things without getting caught up in the emotional baggage that tries to hold us back. And oftentimes that goes hand in hand with our sort of traditional habits of not forgiving, so to speak. So that would just be a tip that I've lived through my own experience, is to be able to be forgiving. And this is a very interesting practical tip that I'll put forward to you. And then we'll bring on our next caller. And this is kind of interesting, but it's to be able to use meditation to imagine a scenario, and then to be able to bring up the emotions that relate to it, even if the scenario may not actually be true. But you can use a scenario created in your mind that may be like an extreme representation of a theoretical hypothetical situation of a scenario. Say, for example, that you have like a friend. This is kind of a weird practice to do, but I'll have to explain it so you can understand what I'm getting at. The essential point is to be able to transcend emotions, transcend like reactions such as anger and stuff, by triggering them within ourselves, by opening ourselves up to them in order to experience them, in order to transcend them. So say there's some sort of scenario where like you imagine a friend doing something like really, really like hurtful to you, and then you're not actually sure whether or not that's a reality. But if you can bring it up within your meditation, acknowledge what that makes you feel like, and then be able to transcend that emotion. So if you imagine what that reality feels like, and it feels like anger and frustration and jealousy, experience that, but then be able to transcend it and let it go. And the practical tip for this is that if and when in your actual scenario something happens that like called you into this place where you meditated on in the first place, and then it turns out that your friend actually does do something that otherwise would have seriously hurt you, now it's going to hurt you less because you've actually spent the time within your own mind, in your own space, to already transcend those emotions. So prior to that meditation, if that was like the first time you got that news, you might actually just, you will react. You will react with anger, and then that could, cause a lot of like more complications. So that's just a little practical tip, is to use meditation to be able to help acknowledge emotions within ourselves, and then to be able to experience them, embody them, recognize what they are, and then let them go and transcend them. That way, so they aren't surfacing through reactive processes within ourselves when we're actually in our social scenarios or whatever. So meditation, going inwards, is a huge tool. So a lot of other stuff on this list, and we'll get through it one by one. Jessica, is there anything you want to say just before we bring on the next caller?
Yeah. There's a few points that I have that interweave with some things that you're mentioning, an actual practical meditation tip as well, specifically relating to forgiveness, which I'll mention in a second. But just to touch on a couple ideas that I have over here, the idea of dreaming big. So you said be Shelby, which was quite funny. Yeah. But, I mean, really, it's not that funny because it's completely possible. If we look at the zen of the state of a dog lying on the floor, or the state of a bird soaring in the air, those are potentials that we can tap into with our imagination, and those are energies that we can tap into as beings that hold frequency and work with frequency. So part of my point was to dream big. Imagine, yourself as the eagle, as the dog. Imagine yourself as the feather. Imagine yourself as the blossom, as part of invoking awesomeness. Another thing to kind of play off what you were saying as well is on the topic of forgiveness is what would love do in this situation? So being love, as opposed to like typical relationships as we've been exploring them is like falling in love with somebody, but the idea of just being love. And I mean, love, unconditional love, is something that's all-encompassing. There's no condition. So looking at a situation or an emotion within yourself, something that's being triggered, as you would look at it from the eyes of how you would wish to be loved in that situation, and loving yourself how you would wish to be loved by, say, the ultimate partner, the one, is what a lot of people talk about. And just to get to this little meditation idea quickly before we bring on the next caller or the first caller, is so there's an exercise that I learned, and basically it's a forgiveness exercise, and what it does is it enables me to, and potentially you guys, to tap into a timeless, spaceless shift within ourselves. So what you would do, I'll just guide you through it briefly. You can practice it on your own time, whenever feels right for you. But placing your left hand on your heart and your right hand either on your solar plexus, which is your power center, which is associated with things like ego and power struggle, or your higher heart, which is your connection with your divine self. So you can practice putting your hand on either chakra and seeing how it feels for you in terms of the exercise. But the idea is that you bring into mind, you call into your awareness all of the people in your life that have ever hurt you, including yourself. So it could be like you as a 7-year-old child, and you imagine yourself standing in front of you, or it could be an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend or your mom or your dad, and you imagine that person standing in front of you. You can be as creative as you like, but a simple script that I use is you look at the person, you imagine that person surrounded by a golden healing light. That's the color that I invoke. You could also use a purification, like the violet flame. Your relationship with that person, or you could imagine them surrounded by white light to purify your relationship with them. Whatever you feel inclined to do, use your creativity as you feel. And then you basically just say to that person, you can vocalize this out loud. It will have more effect as sound resonates and resounds across space-time. But the idea is that you say, I forgive you, I love you, and thank you. And when you imagine this, you typically would feel, at least I have felt, and it may be different for you, you might need to try it several times or practice with different techniques, but you should feel a release, and then at that point, the person may end up disappearing or fading into the background. So.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good practical technique for working with forgiveness, which I think is, again, that's something I'm sure we're all experiencing or have experienced in many ways, but it's always something to be able to master in a lot of ways. Like imagine if you can like literally forgive everything. What sort of example does that set? It's a very interesting scenario to be able to envision. So just going over a couple of other things on my list without need to get into them, but just sort of give you guys a little bit of foreshadowing. Some of the other things that I got on my list here, which is like a big list, are practical tips for being awesome, including being more intuitive, being more clear, things related to exercising, isometric training to be specific, trying new things, writing your dreams down, writing your intentions down, understanding how manifestation works, being altruistic and friendly, helping build a paradigm shift community. Yeah, thumbs up. Bringing realities into being, synchronizing with synchronicity, using wizard-like shifts and tactics, or using wizard-like skills and tactics, to be specific, being mindful of our resources, recycling, reusing, being a conscious leader, practicing martial arts, making art, practicing our creative expression, creating on behalf of the ether, being more conscious of our nature, and there's a few other things, but we'll save that as we continue to go. So, shout out to everybody in the live chat. If you guys are having fun so far, just post in an 1111. And, of course, reminding you guys in the live chat at any point to post your information that you feel is valuable to this conversation. If you have some practical tips of your own, send a message to Paradigm Shift Radio in the live chat. You can just sort of click the name on the side, and there's the option where it says if you double-click it or something, just keep clicking. And you'll send me a message or try posting in the live chat and just make it nice and bold, and I'll try keeping an eye on that, and then we'll be able to share your practical tips for being awesome. Just keep them in point form note, and that would be perfect. So there's some 1111s. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. We're going to bring on our caller onto the show, and then we have another caller who's ready to come on after that. So we'll move through this, and we'll see how many callers we can get on. And, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to being able to see what everyone can bring. There's so many different ways that we can take this conversation topic, and I'm excited to see where it will go. So bringing on caller from area code 780. So caller from area code 780, if you are ready, we're bringing you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Awesome. Caller,
Hi.
Please introduce yourself, where you are calling from, and what you would like to bring to the show.
So hi, I'm Zorananda. I'm calling in from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I particularly want to speak about first the word awesome and just the linguistics around it and how you can utilize the word in a way to actually embody an essence out of it, where it's not so much just a word anymore, it's actually an experience just within your life, and how there's magic in these words, and it's really up to us to use our imagination to put this kind of like power into it. So, what I was thinking about is awesome is an interesting word because it has a dichotomy between quality and quantity. And how this is done is in the word awe, it denotes a quality of expression within an experience, right? So when you have a particular experience, the awe factor of it is going to be something that you feel within yourself that is joyful or draws in happiness. However, it's fleeting. So there's a point A to point B. There's a beginning and an ending to that feeling of awe, and then you move on. And then there's the word sum, which is then the quantity, where it denotes the length and duration of from point A to point B. So the word awesome is going to be a temporary experience. And what's important for me, at least, to understand is how you can make a bridge between the temporary experience of something awesome and a more fulfilling and more perpetual experience, which it seems like a paradox, because how can you have something that's fleeting and temporary actually be connected to something that's encompassing and wholesome and permanent? And what I've realized is in the moment of an awesome experience, not to focus in on the actual physical experience, because that's what's going to be temporary. What's drawn from is the actual integrative experience between the two parties, say yourself and whatever is external. And in that moment of awesomeness, you can utilize the focus to go into, let's say, whatever your word is for God or the universe or divinity, and you actually have a window to experience what God is through this awesomeness. And that awesomeness can be anything. It could be what you see on a TV program, what you listen to, what you read, interaction between friends. And the importance is to utilize that moment to draw into something that is considered the infinite or eternal. And so basically my tip to being awesome is knowing that the understanding of linguistic properties can help and aid in understanding the greater picture of the experience. At least it helped me in that way.
Cool, awesome. Well, geez, I just say it without even thinking it. If there's more that you want to say, please. I mean, just passing the talking stick back to you. You can go right into whatever else you want to share.
Yeah, totally. There's a fellow that does some channeling work. His name's Gerald Anka, and he channels his higher self named Bashar. And he brought up a good point of the difference between awesome and awful. When we hear the word awful, we have a definition for it that's usually negative, like, oh, that was awful and terrible. Yet, how we spell it is A-U-E-F-U-L. So if you reverse it, it would be full of awe. So instead of being some of awe, right, you can use the word awful in a way then they're full of awe. So then you're actually always in awe because it's just a state of being. It's no longer like this external stimuli. It's not like you saw something and you feel this awe and you feel this wonder because you went to, let's say for example, you went to a conference and your most loved speaker was there, and then they just said something crazy deep, and you had all this inspiration and awe, and it was temporary, right? It came up, it rose, and it went away. And the difference is with that feeling of awe is that you can invoke it within yourself at all times, and it's then no longer awe. It's your actual excitement and essence of your being. And then you can see how these words are catalysts, right? Like being awesome and your awesomeness is a catalyst for you to experience something greater from your own actual expression continually, and then working on it so that you can build on it, and then you're just awesome all the time. So you're just awful.
That's really cool. I love thinking about linguistics, and I feel like that's something that culturally we're exploring again after kind of like a long hiatus of maybe losing touch with some of the truth of what you're saying in terms of the words and the actual meaning and resonance, as opposed to just like a cultural use of the word like awesome as like a slang or vernacular. And then I wanted to ask you, Zornanda, about the idea of meditation practice and the idea of awesome, kind of like what you're touching on, being something that's almost beyond words. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that. And the idea also of like being in an awesome or awful state, a state full of awe, almost invokes a silence within oneself. A state of awe being something that is silent, or do you think it is, there's maybe a sound, maybe the Om sound, for example? Do you think there's a correlation between that and the topic that we're discussing?
To a degree. I mean, in your meditational state, the goal is to transition from a particular moment and a physical moment to an energetic and encompassing and universal state. So what I feel and what I've experienced tends to happen is when you start to successfully make this transition, where literally you go from being a light particle to a light wave, and you stream in the energy and the frequency from being a light wave into being a light particle, and then your interaction with the world and other people around you, they get a sense of awe from your presence, because the amount of exertion, amount of energy that's coming off you is interacting with them, and they get a sense of what it is that you're emitting, which is then either, if you want to call it God or divinity or the universe. So then that sense of awe for themselves is then a catalyst for the inspiration for them to seek out how it is that they can perpetuate this kind of flow of energy within themselves as well. And that's why, like, you have gurus around the world which can sit in meditation and sit in that silence and sit in that stillness, and yet radiate out a vast amount of energy, and their disciples getting everything that they need out of just being in their presence. And Yogananda is a great example of telling stories of his guru, of just sitting silently in samadhi, and, you know, crowds and crowds of people being around him, and they don't even need to ask him a single thing. They don't need anything out of him physically, because everything that comes out of him energetically totally clears them. And they have all the answers that they need, and it's simply within the presence. So then the important thing is how you can articulate for yourself what the process of meditation can be for you to go from an individual particulate state to an all-encompassing, integrated, whole, energetic state, and the bridge and the link between the two, so that you have easy access from both points, that there isn't any blockages, right? And the blockages are just simply belief systems that we create for ourselves to not allow the flow into a purely non-conceptual, non-physical, energetic state. But we make it complicated.
Right. And yeah, and again, like, part of going back to the theme of just practical tips is being able to just like expand our awareness to be able to see sort of like the simplicity within things, and just being able to like remove all those blockages over time, which is a practice, but it's something that, you know, it's just comes through experience and just naturally will occur over time if our intention is there for it to happen.
Yeah.
Now, just we'll set this up and we'll bring another caller on shortly in the next couple of minutes. But just what other practical tips would you like to be able to share for the audience in terms of being awesome and embodying more awesomeness, be it lifestyle, be it awareness, anything that you got? By all means, give us a few.
So, getting in contact with a version of yourself or future essence of yourself that embodies the level that you wish right now. So we typically in our society have other people, like celebrities or whatever, that we idolize because they are in a state that we're not. And what that does, though, is it causes a separation because we can't actually relate with that person because it's not ourselves. And we don't, and typically there aren't belief systems set up to be like, oh, we are one, so that's me, so I can do that. Usually it's like, oh, I'm me and I have my challenges and my misfortunes, and then this person has all the wealth, all the beauty, all the riches, and I want to be like that, but I can't because of these. So what you can do to switch that is you start to envision yourself as that person and what everything you have done to actually get that. And then what you do is you start to make a connection between you and your future self, and you start to live out and embody the step-by-step process to get to that. So it can be eating healthy. If you notice that, like, you go and get fast food a lot, that choice to get fast food doesn't actually align with this better version of yourself. So what would that better version do? Oh, it eats superfoods, it eats more greens, it eats less meat. So then you start doing that. What else does that version do? Oh, it works out, it does yoga, it goes to events with people that don't drink or do drugs, that they promote meditations and they promote community gatherings. And you keep making the list, and then you actively do these things. So what's happening is that version of yourself is the one that's actually sending you this information. Mm-hmm. Because what's going to happen is that one day, 6 months, 7 months down the road, you're going to be at one of these events talking about meditation. Food around you is going to be organic and healthy and superfoods, and you're going to be with people who are successful. And then you're going to start thinking about the past self, the version now that was conjuring up all this stuff, and then you start to see the link. Oh, me right now experiencing all this, I'm sending to my past self, and my past self is intercepting it and co-creating it as best as they can to get to this point now. And so then it's like you start to create seeds of awesomeness in your life, day by day, choices that you make. Better eating, what kind of music you listen to, what kind of books you read, what kind of people in your life, and really being adamant and really being determined, right? Like that's the fire in Manipura, like that's the third chakra, right? Like that embodiment of drive, of being like, these people, they do a lot of drugs, they drink alcohol, I don't want to do that anymore. Even if you have known them for 20 years in your life. I just let go of someone that I've known for 24 years because of that kind of lifestyle. And it was one of the hardest decisions I made. However, I knew it was best for me. So letting go of that and getting rid of it out of your life. Now I live in a beautiful co-op home. I'm part of a yoga community and create my own meditations, and I'm seeing this abundance simply because of allowing that energy to release out of your life and then making room for the more positive. And then that future self of yours is going to go, yeah, here's more awesomeness. Here's a synchronicity that you didn't expect. Go on a trip somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like definitely stuff that syncs up on my list too, and I'm sure on a lot of other people's lists, that goes hand in hand with expanding our awareness to being able to comprehend and logically put into practice understandings of our multidimensional reality and existing beyond the present moment. That is like something that it sounds like an awesome concept, and from our best guess as like spiritual beings, it seems to play out that way, and we can experience this, like you said, through like I said, sort of like connecting to that vision of a future self, knowing that it's already there, and then aligning yourself with it, and then bringing that reality, sort of like holding onto a rope that's sort of pulling you towards that reality. This goes hand in hand with what we were talking about last week with the idea of intentions, and there was more that I actually wanted to talk about related to like the manifestation of intentions and being able to acknowledge like how manifestation works related to simple ideas of laws of attraction. And I'll just say this here in terms of being on the topic, and then we'll move along. There's a lot of other things I'd like to get through in this show, but since it's key, I'll mention it now. The idea with manifestation, the thing that I didn't mention on the last episode, is being aware of the practical idea that the universe doesn't understand the word not. So like when you're putting forth a manifestation, you're putting forth an intention, you're putting forth an intention to be awesome, instead of saying something like, oh, I don't want to be like out of shape, I don't want to be like unhealthy, you put forth the simple intention of saying like, I want to be healthy, I want to be in shape, I want to like step into my golden self. Jessica has something she wants to add here. So
sorry, I have to interject since you're getting so particular, which is the use of the word want. And again,
go for it. Yeah. No, that's
from
right,
my understanding and what I've learned, I can only speak as an experiential aspect of creation. The idea that the universe also responds to the word want by giving you, like, want is keeping something out of reach. It goes along with need. So it's like, oh, you need something? Do you? Do you really need it? Whereas if we use words that are more empowered, I align with, for example, my future self. I envision, I seek, maybe not seek, but yeah, I intend.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Thanks for reminding me on that. Being a good spiritual friend on that one. No, that's true, because that's just like me getting caught up in like old word patterns. And again, that's the way to be awesome. This would be a practical tip for being awesome, is to change the way you use language to be able to remove your use of nots. So, and remove the use of the word wants and needs and replace it with other ways of saying things. So whenever you say something and you're just like saying to someone, you're just like, no, like that's not what I meant. Clarify. What did you mean and stuff like that. Or you say like, no, like I don't want that. Like I don't want this. Do you actually like, or are you actually like lying to yourself when you say that? And if you go back and notice in conversations where a lot of the times you and another person might have been using the word not unconsciously, you can almost sort of reveal another depth to what you are actually saying to each other. So if you move forward with that, with the intention of removing the word not and using it as a chance to flex your grammar skills, it's a really interesting practice that will help step you further into being a better manifester within this reality and being awesome in that sense. So Zorananda, we're gonna move on. We got a couple more callers that we're gonna bring on. Is there any other just quick practical tips that you would like to share with people? And then after that, you can just let people know where they can get in touch with you via Facebook and so forth.
Yeah, really fine tuning and understanding and defining what your highest excitement is. And having that as a practice so that you're perpetually living on your highest excitement. And that could be simply where you work. Start with where you work. Is it exciting? No. What can you do to make it exciting? If you can't do anything to make it exciting, what can you do to change that so that your work is exciting? Because I think in the spiritual community, in the conscious community, us hippies don't like to work. However, it is still necessary. Being a spiritual person does not mean you don't work. You don't want to be lazy and lethargic. You want to be excited and productive. So be a hippie and work and be excited and be awesome. Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. Just type in Zorananda. I do have a Facebook page entitled Shri Zorananda Yoga if you want to like it. And, that's about it. Give me a shout and message me, like me, befriend me. I'm open. So
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll be sure to include. I posted your profile into the live chat, and I'll include it in the show notes as well once this is up on YouTube for people looking for it. So thank you again, man. Much pleasure having you on.
Great.
I would love to chat more once we get the chance in the future. So much love.
All right. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Cheers, man.
See ya.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to bring on another caller shortly after this, a caller from area code. It looks like we got a caller from area code 914, though we are going to keep in sync. I told Phil he was going to call in at the top of the hour, so we're going to sync up with that as well. And we do have a few other callers, just letting you guys know. There's 3 other callers who are in the queue, a caller from area code 714 and 609. If you want to be brought onto the show, make sure you press 1 on your keypad to clarify. Otherwise, I won't be bringing you on. So if you want on, press 1 on the keypad. So okay, there we go. Okay, so just going over again, I got this second page of my list, and I just want to share with you guys what I got. And if we get into all of them, that's cool. If not, there's always the after party hangout, which will happen after the show. But before I do that, before I share my list, here's some of the tips that people from the live chat in the community want to share in the show. So Rachel said, here are her practical tips for being more awesome. She said, being empathetic and having the ability to see a situation from many perspectives other than your own. Very cool, very cool. So again, there's a lot that we could talk about just on that. Jeff, our Paradigm Shift admin from Paradigm Shift Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, you can sync up with that up on Facebook, said energy, movement, and meditations, community service, and helping others feel loved. So that's very cool too. Yeah, like again, that goes in theme with the idea of being friendly, being altruistic, being able to share the awesomeness and the inspiration with others. The community service part, that could be even something, like going back to the free hugs thing. Doing free hugs is a way to be awesome. And I obviously, again, I could talk a lot about free hugs. I'm pretty sure we've done entire episodes about it, and hacking the matrix and how awesome that works. So John said another way to be awesome is to live in the here and now and have a healthy lifestyle. So of course, being present is such a key thing. If we're distracted on our attachments to the past, emotional attachments to the past, or if we're stuck in fear of the future, then it's going to take us out of the gratitude and the gifts and the awesomeness of the present moment. So another thing, okay, so let me just go over the quick list, and then we're going to bring on a call from area code 914. So some of the things that I want to share, again, whether or not we fully get into them. So practical tips for being awesome. At the top of the page, without even getting to read all of them, but just the ones that I put stars next to, is nocete ipsum. So this is the old saying of know thyself. This is the idea of just being able to be more aware of who you are as an individual, being able to acknowledge old emotional patterns, being able to transcend them, being able to just create yourself, being able to mold yourself into who you are, and that can go really deep, obviously. Some other things, connecting with nature. A great way to be awesome is to go spend some time out in nature, spend some time with a tree, meditate under a tree. That is a great way to feel awesome and to connect with the awesomeness that is all around you. Another thing is being open to spirit. This is a huge thing that came up in our conversation with Paradigm Shift London on Friday, was the idea of different ways that we can be open to communication from spirit. And when I say spirit, I just sort of mean like the expansion of ourself that is beyond our physical body and what we perceive to be our own thoughts within our head. And being open to spirit is being open to messages coming to you through synchronicities, such as through tarot, such as through fortune cookies, such as songs on the radio, all sorts of that awesome stuff, numbers, meeting certain people at the right place at the right time. There's a lot of stuff that can be related to that, and again, that's something that I would love to talk more about a little bit later. But again, just being open to that concept of being, when you're open to spirit, you're also open to your future self, which is what Zorananda was talking about. And when you allow yourself to realize that you're more than just your physical body and that there's a part of you that is like the higher consciousness communicating back to you, then it allows you to get like that additional perspective and also that additional reassurance that you are where you need to be, that you're syncing up, you're being aware, you're getting those messages, keep on going, you're doing awesome, you are the awesome. A couple other things, being comfortable even in the discomfort. This is a very interesting idea. What happens when we can find comfort in the discomfort, knowing that everything that we go through grows you? So that's basically that. Being courageous. Sometimes being courageous isn't the loud voice. Sometimes being courageous is the small voice that says, I will try again tomorrow. So this is kind of like a simple idea, just reflecting on what being courageous means. Being courageous means trying new things. It all goes hand in hand with that as well. So developing foresight. We talked a bit about this already. That goes hand in hand with developing an understanding that as much as reality exists beyond the present moment, so does our ability to anticipate and perceive it as well. Other things, synchronizing with technology, a great way to be awesome. This goes back to my roots of being motivated and inspired by the concept of the Hacker movie from 1995 and everything. It's just ways how we can synchronize with technology. A lot of people feel that there's this disconnect between them and technology, but if we recognize that everything is a tool, everything essentially is nature. If we created the internet and we are nature, then the internet is still nature, so to speak. So we can synchronize with technology, and in this case, being able to share things like this radio show, like inspirational videos that we put out there, is a way to be awesome. It's a way to extend our branches out further into the three-dimensional representation of the fifth-dimensional field that we are all attached to, the internet. So another thing is doing free hugs. Talked about that. That's, of course, a big thing. And, of course, check out youtube.com/SkullBabylon for the new free hug video that Jessica Starshine and I did and posted of free hugs in Hacking the Matrix in Toronto. And, of course, encouraging people to do that where they are and experience it for themselves and to share the awesomeness. A couple other things are being more psychic and also using psychic self-defense, using visual imagery to put like white light around yourself. You can use that for healing. You can use that in tune with like Reiki and everything. There's a lot more to that. A couple other things I put was like working with crystals. That's a really cool thing, understanding how to use crystals to amplify and program intentions into this reality, and also being able to sync up with cool gear using the consciousness shifting clothing that we also have available through, that I'll just mention it now, but it's in the show link for this episode is teespring.com/openyourheart. You can get the Flower of Life Open Your Heart shirts there, and that is another way to be awesome, is to be able to use clothing, again, as a tool, recognizing that everything is a tool to be able to help, in this case, shift consciousness. So I think shifting consciousness is a pretty awesome thing. So there's a lot of other stuff, but we'll see what the callers want to bring on, and we'll check in with our buddy Phil. I know he's going to call in soon, but we're going to bring on another caller. So again, there's a few other callers in the queue. If you want to be brought on, just press 1 on the keypad, and we'll get through as many of you as we can. So from here on, we'll keep it concise for everyone out there, including myself. Reminder, less words, more meaning, so that we can get in as many people as possible into the awesomeness of this episode. And just got a ding there. Okay, so Phil is in the queue, but we're going to bring on caller from area code 914, just as the order is, and then we're going to bring on Philosophical, one of our good friends who does a lot of flow trees shortly after. So caller from area code 914, we're going to bring you onto the air. Here we go. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Caller, please introduce yourself, where you're calling from, and what you would like to bring to the show.
I am Moonman T. I am from New York. Here we go. You know.
Dude, I knew you were going to call in tonight.
Yeah, man. It's you on the phone. Yeah. 914 area, you know. I wanted to talk about awesomeness, right? That's what we're here for. First of all, I wanted to talk about releasing what we believe to be awesome. You understand what I'm saying? Coming from a human perspective, in this reality, we have our perceptions of what awesome may be, but if we were to boil it down to our beingness and just actually existing, and that being awesome in itself, the energy of the awesomeness would magnify. You understand what I'm saying? Also, I want to speak about contemplating the oneness, contemplating. We see separation every day. I believe myself to be separate from the car and from the school and from City Hall and from my future self. I believe myself to be separate from these things, and there's a oneness there. So the fact that there's a oneness there, the contemplating of that is awesome in itself. You understand what I'm saying? It's huge for me in my journey and what I've experienced to contemplate oneness as a practice of becoming awesome, because you realize that every book that was written, every word that was spoken, every thought, every energy that was projected outwardly or inwardly is you. It's the essence of you, and there's no separation in that. So just that in itself is completely awesome to me. Infinity. We say the word infinity, and for us as human beings, within infinity, it's hard to contemplate that. So for us, having this time-space experience, which is one's experience within the infinite, it's kind of awesome to think about, because if there is an infinity where time and space are illusions and everything's already done, we essentially chose to come back to a forgetful experience, which is huge and brave of every soul on the planet, not just human beings, but every soul on the planet, which is pretty awesome. Allowing your true essence to shine through, even in the midst of the human limitations and perspectives, which is an energetic thing, I believe, as well as a physical thing, but to experience the boundlessness of your awareness and consciousness, and how you are able to connect with all of consciousness, any lifetime, not just what you believe yourself to have a future lifetime, but all lifetimes and all beings who've ever existed or ever will exist within time and space and beyond. So that's kind of awesome in my world. One more thing. Alchemy, magnetism, physics, studying these things that will bring you closer to the essence of the creator of consciousness, which is your own consciousness, and just the study of these esoteric things that we deem as esoteric and ancient, but really exists right here in this now. It's always existed here in this now, but to our human perspective, it's out there or yesterday or tomorrow, and it's literally coexisting as we speak and as we communicate with one another right now and beyond.
For sure, man. Yeah, I think I'll just set this up and I'll pass it back to you as well. But yeah, like that was one of the things that I had in my list, was ways to be awesome, was to like educate ourselves on some very key topics, and some very key topics. I had another list somewhere in here, but I mean off the top of my head, even just bringing ourselves up to speed related to concepts. Well, this is what I was talking about earlier in the show, related to like sacred geometry, related to energy, related to cymatics, related to infinity, related to Fibonacci, related to the oneness and the crystallization of things, related to the microcosm and the macrocosm, space-time and the field that we are in. For me, for myself, like these things go hand in hand with being able to understand the game that we're in. And, you know, I use the game as just another word for the system, the matrix, the holographic reality that we are in, and how it operates within us, and like how we operate within it as well. I think, Jessica, do you have something? Okay, so we're just going to pass over to Jessica, and then go ahead.
Okay.
Something brief just to keep us flowing, but I love what you're talking about in terms of touching on the infinite and resonating and feeling the depth of what you're expressing. To kind of an original...
Oh, sorry, say that again, Jessica.
Okay.
Reminding you to breathe. Go back to
Yeah. So reminding me to breathe. The infinite is breath. It is the inspiration, so breathing in. And then releasing. And every time we breathe in and we breathe out, it brings us into a centered place of present being. It brings us within our own being, but that also brings us into the connection with one and all, with everything. So thank you for that.
That's not a problem.
For sure. Oh, man. Well, just passing back to you. Is there anything else that comes to mind? And we're going to try and bring on our buddy Philosophical, but we're going to keep you on as well. So I think, I think you guys will get along. So.
Yeah. Well, from my experience, as you, this is truly a holographic reality. You know what I mean? Us experiencing separation just in general, and to know that there's a oneness there, and trying to search for that oneness in everything that we do is huge. It's literally up to the one. Once the one awakens, everything that is awakens. creation is consciousness. Consciousness is the ground of beingness, uniting all the forces of nature, uniting all the what we see to be separate. So from your eyes and from your point of view, you are creating any type of separation that is perceived. So that's awesome. That's awesome in itself, because at the end of the game, we're all going back into the same box at the end of the game. So it's like, I see so much separation. I see the fighting. I see the anger. I see the wars. And I see these things. But from my point of view, knowing that there's a oneness there, it is up to me to perceive correctly. And that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, like that, again, for me, like one of the ideas of going back to being awesome practical tip is being aware of the simple idea that like we as like the godness gave ourselves amnesia so that we could come into this whole experience of forgetting what we were, so that we could experience the excitement of remembering it, and to be able to have it is something that we can share. Like, I mean, a lot of people who are listening to this, like, you know, we've had a lot of those aha moments where we've seen the sacred geometry, the sacred geometry, where we've experienced the oneness. But there's a lot of people out there who are still sort of living within the illusion. They're living with a lot of clouds and fog in front of them. So that is where, within this show, you know, I encourage everyone to continue to find the motivation, find the tap into the inspiration within them, to go out there and to be able to help other people to realize that the awesomeness is right there in front of them. And it is one of those things where it's hidden in plain sight. So it's super cool, man. Cool, man. All right, well, Mr. Moonman T, we're going to keep you on. I'm going to bring on our good buddy Philosophical, and we're going to see what he would like to bring to this conversation.
Okay.
So,
namaste.
Namaste, man. Yeah, you can namaste right where you are. Well,
man, I will.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Right. I love you guys, man.
All right, cool. All right. So for everybody who's listening, we're going to bring on our good buddy Philosophical. Philosophical has joined us in the past. He's actually featured in the Journey to Lucidity 2 movie. And again, GoFundMe.com/Journey to Lucidity 2. You can check that out, and you'll expect to hear more about that in the future. But he's a good buddy of mine, and he's just into awesome community creation and spreading the love and some flowetry. And we're going to hear a little bit of the stuff that he's been creating lately. So Mr. Philosophical, we're going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio once again. Here we go. Hello.
Yo.
Yabba dabba yo.
Can you hear me? Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Phil. Thank you so much for being here. And if you just want to share with people where you're currently located and what it is that you would like to bring to the show tonight.
Right on. Well, I've been listening and getting super inspired, hearing all of you just share what you're passionate about, and it's pretty awesome, let me tell you. So yeah, I'm currently living in Ojai, California, which is an hour north of LA, and it's a pretty awesome community that hangs out here. A lot of people creating conscious projects out in the world, and my hometown is on the East Coast, which me and my friends call Peaceburg, which is the parallel reality of Pittsburgh. I'm really happy to be back on the show, and I will just say that Brendon sent me the sneak preview of the Journey to Lucidity film, and it is extremely inspiring, and I'm really, really honored to be a part of that. And I'm excited to see it ripple out into the world.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, thank you so much, man. That project came to be thanks to so much of your contribution to it. I mean, those of you who tuned in the past would have heard this, but Phil was actually the first guy to pick me up at the airport. So if it wasn't for him, the whole thing wouldn't have happened. So thank you so much, brother, for co-creating that. And that's an inspirational idea in itself of being awesome, is being able to recognize how we can help each other along our path as brothers and soul sisters, to be able to help us co-create the visions that we share. So, Phil, in terms of practical tips for being awesome, what is there that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'll share a little bit of the past year of my journey. Well, for about I've been really into this stuff for about 6 years, and I've been making YouTube videos for 4 years and making flowetry for about 4 years. And this past year, I had a really big shift because basically I felt like I understood pretty much all the basic stuff at a mental level, but it still wasn't like clicking in my life, you know. It wasn't like fully manifesting. It still felt like I was kind of stuck, and I was like, well, if I really do create my own reality, then what's going on here, you know? Like, I know that we're all one. I know all this other stuff, and I couldn't quite figure it out. And eventually I started watching some videos, and I realized that the subconscious mind, which is where all of our beliefs are held, is actually manifest in our bodies. And so as we're little kids, we get programmed by our environment and by our parents with these certain beliefs about how reality works. And they're basically like imprinted into the cells of our body. And so in order to truly change your life and your belief system and your reality, you have to like literally go in and change the cellular imprint of your body, is what I believe. And so for the past year, I've been in what I call like the inner healing world. I've been doing plenty of external projects, but my big focus has been to go into my subconscious mind and just reprogram it completely, like as if I'm cleaning out my whole house, you know, just totally clearing the hard drive, deleting all those old photos and old programs, all those old computer games which don't work anymore, you know, and then consciously programming new ones. And I'll be the first to say that it is truly an undertaking to really get down to the root of these cellular imprints. And it is 100% worth it. You know, it's like the most intense journey I've ever been on, and it's 100% worth it. But what I tell people is you have to become a dolphin, because you have to be willing to dive all the way deep down into the darkest ocean of your body and of your subconscious mind, and you have to find all the jewels down there, and it's really, really dense. But then you get to like swim all the way back up to the surface, and once you get to the top, you're so grateful just to be back in the light that you like jump 100 feet out of the water, and you're like making all these dolphin noises. So yeah, basically this chapter of my journey is really about tools and tips for reprogramming our subconscious mind through the body, and understanding that the body and the mind are literally one circuit, and they're both informing each other. And so I'm about to launch an 88-day video journey called the Inspiration Station, where I will be sharing a lot of awesome videos on my YouTube channel, which if you just search Philosophical, you can find that, because I feel like it's my duty and my just part of my purpose to share these insights that I've learned through doing all these kind of inner healing and reprogramming techniques. So that's a little bit of an overview of my recent chapter of my journey. But if you want to learn more about what I do, just check out my YouTube channel or my Bandcamp page. I love making music, and one of my favorite ways to reprogram my whole being is just through singing and mantras and kind of healing through music, basically. So that's another one of my passions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it totally, like, practical tip for being awesome is being able to create space for us to step into and practice our creative expression. So, I mean, one thing I was going to mention, or at least just mentioning right now, was a practical tip for being awesome, and this is something that comes up many times, is the idea of being able to keep a journal with you, being able to capture those moments, being able to honor those moments where a thought just sort of passes through your mind, and you're just like, oh, like that was gold or something, right? If you don't have a journal to write that down in, like moments like that can sort of dissolve, and then they just sort of like fade back into the ether. So as sort of like ambassadors for the ether, we sort of have to be ready with pen and paper in hand, or in some way or another, to be able to jot down those moments, knowing that, you know, our memory isn't always 100% reliable in a lot of ways. So it's good to be able to have the external form of a way of keeping memory, of keeping data, which would be a journal or any other device that you have. But I was just going to ask you, Phil, and we can set this up as well to be able to help to set the stage for your song that we're going to play. But how do you feel, in terms of a practical tip for being awesome, how do you feel that a journal has helped you within your creative expressions and in the flowetry work that you've experienced, and anything else?
Yeah, journals are definitely crucial. I feel like I like to say I have an antenna up at all times, and it's picking up signals for good rhymes and downloads and whatnot. And so usually most of my flowetry pieces are the result of like keeping my antenna up all the time, and every time some good rhymes come in, I'll jot them down. And then over the course of a month, I've got like a whole few pages worth of good rhymes, and then I'll craft it into a piece of flowetry.
For sure, man. For sure. And, of course, the other thing that journals are great for is also for being able to record your dreams. And practical tip there, without having to get into super detail, is the idea of one of the ways to be awesome is to experience the awesomeness of dream exploration. And we've done episodes on the passes of this, but writing down your dreams is a good way to flex your dream muscle. And it's simply like working out. The more you work it, the more you develop it, and the more those dreams are going to come to you, and the universe is going to recognize that you're putting forth that intention. In the same way that if you're journaling and you're taking down these notes and you're sort of like working again as an antenna for these ideas streaming through the consciousness all around us, then the consciousness is going to be like, hey, this person's ready to take some notes, like let's send some more stuff their way. I do want to get into another topic, but we'll maybe do that once we get back. And one of the ideas was being aware of the concept of like the fact of the higher daemon, so to speak, or the idea that we are not our thoughts. And this has kind of been explained, but realizing that like we are something that is a little bit higher than our thoughts, and we observe our thoughts, and the thoughts are sort of the nature of our mind where things pass in and pass out, but we have the ability to choose which ones we want to be able to grab onto, opposed to actually seeing the thoughts as us and identifying with the emotional reaction we have to them. It's an idea of mindfulness and being able to sort of transcend old habits and so forth. I do just want to check in, Jessica, we haven't heard from you in a little while, and you're just sitting here. Is there anything that you want to share, maybe related to the topic of journaling or just creative expression? Because, I mean, a lot of what you do, a lot of what Phil and yourself do is the free flow style, where you sort of get into, as explained to me by one of our good friends Darren, who will be on the show in the future, the process of Alwyn, A-W-E-N, and Alwynning. Alwyn refers to, it's sort of a Viking term, but it refers to like the creative flow that is constantly there. And again, if we open up our antenna, it comes through us. And when you're doing free flow flowetry, when you're writing a song on the spot, you are Alwynning. But Jessica, I was just going to ask, like, what's the awesomeness like in terms of being able to tap into that form of creativity?
Yeah, I mean, there is flowetry, and then there's like drawing, and there's so many different forms that that can take. But I guess just to like touch upon it and kind of sum it up in a way that's like tangible and practical, which is the idea of like removing your mind, removing the barriers of it's like opening the gates. That's really what it feels like. I don't know how it feels for you, Phil, but for me it's kind of just like you're just tapped in, you're streaming, it's like streaming a video off the internet. If there's some other thing that comes in, it might, interfere with the flow sometimes, but you can tap back into it, and I guess it's like getting into that deep trance-like state, like a meditative state. And really, I think it's like tapping into everything, in a sense. And it's just like anything that you intend, anything that you align with, whether it's a journal, I'm going to write a song today, or the song just comes to me. It's by opening yourself up to something, you allow it to stream through you. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll go
Phil,
with that.
anything you want to add to that?
Totally. Yeah. So I've been doing Flowtree for a little bit, and for the most part, I would always memorize pieces and then share them, and I was able to do that, but I would always see these people freestyling, and I was like, man, that is so cool. How do they do that? How do they just keep the flow going and just like these rhymes just keep coming in? And it just totally blew me away. And for about 3 years, I was really kind of jealous. Like my inner child was kind of jealous. Like, I wish I could freestyle, and I would like kind of try, but it was as if I just had this total fear to like jump off the cliff, because that's basically what you have to do. You have to totally trust that the next rhyme is gonna come. It's kind of like when you run up a hill, you don't stress out about whether the next breath is gonna be there. You just trust that the next breath is gonna come in. So sure enough, I was like kind of practicing freestyling and really wanting to do it. And then one morning I woke up from a dream, and in my head, this is what was going on. It said, "Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way, let the universe play. Play." And then and literally that just like broke open the floodgates. And then like as soon as I woke up that morning, I was just freestyling for like 15 minutes, and I was like, couldn't believe it was happening. And since then, I've practiced a lot more, and so I'm able to tune back into it. But I really feel it does relate to what I was speaking on before, these subconscious beliefs that we have, where maybe as a little kid we got made fun of for expressing ourselves, and so we kind of just put this block up deep within our subconscious that it's scary to perform in front of people or something like that. And so until we really reprogram that belief, we're probably not going to be able to do it very well,
Cool. Well, Phil, this sets us up. We'll introduce your song here, and you can do that. And for people who want to find more information on Phil, you can find him on Facebook. Run a search on Phil Osophical, 2 words, so PHIL and then space Osophical. And you can also find him with the same spelling on Bandcamp. I'll post a link for this in the show notes as well, but phil-osophical.bandcamp.com, and there you will find the newly released album of his, New Eyes. So this is a song that we have off that new album. So Phil, just introduce this song real quick for us. This is Go Inside.
I'm guessing it's Go Inside. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a song that me and my friend made together, and it's called Go Inside. So I invite people to just take a few deep breaths. In fact, yeah, let's take a few deep breaths, and then we can just listen to it together. It's nice with headphones or decent speakers. It sounds better than just laptop speakers, but yeah, it's like a little 3-minute kind of guided meditation, and I think y'all will enjoy it. So let's take 3 deep breaths together, and on the exhale, this is one of my favorite practices. I invite everyone to just like sigh and kind of like wiggle your body on the exhale. So let's all inhale. All right, inhale.
I like that one.
All right, one more. This time, shake it all out.
Cool. All right, so setting this up, this is Go Inside by Philosophical. For those of you who are listening to the original recording on Blog Talk, the audio for this may not be 100%, but we'll update it for the YouTube version. And again, you can find the YouTube version through the YouTube channel and, yeah, all that good stuff. So thank you, Phil, so much for creating, and looking forward to being able to share this. So everyone, once again, this is Philosophical with Go Inside. You're listening to Paradigm Shift Radio. Let this be your meditation, and enjoy.
It's all just a ride. How do I know? 'Cause I go inside. Outer space becomes inner space. It's an interdimensional interface. All information integrates and religion becomes interfaith. The blessings are perpetual. This world is so special and exceptional. Einstein said it's all electrical. Mirror image so symmetrical. But in society, it's all a spectacle. Trying to clone us, make us identical. Time to escape from these tentacles. So let freedom flow through your ventricles. Relax, rewind, relax, rewind, relax, rewind. Let your mind recline. Relax, rewind, let your mind read. Life, it is all just a ride. How do I know? 'Cause I go inside. I go inside where it coincides. I go inside where divine resides. I'm sitting here wondering how I'm having deja vu in the infinite now. Surfing back to oneness, doesn't it feel like we've already done this? Connected like a fungus, yes. Your heart is the compass. Got compassion like Dalai Lama. Singing Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. No sentence, it's always karma. Spinning around on Pachamama. Relax, rewind, relax, rewind. Let your mind recline. Relax, rewind, let your mind recline. Relax, rewind, let your mind recline. Life, it is all just a ride. How do I know? 'Cause I go inside. I go inside where it coincides. I go inside where divine resides. Life, it is all just a ride. Find out if you go inside. Life, it is all just a ride. You'll find out if you go inside. Life, it is all just a ride. You'll find out if you go inside.
All right, so there's some of the awesomeness for you right there in the experience of the now. That's some beautiful music by our good friend Philosophical, and we'll bring him back on. So congratulations, Mr. Osophical. You've accomplished something amazing.
Well, thank you, kind sir.
Awesome.
A funny little thing I'll just share about that song is that me and my friend Pavel, he's an incredible musician and producer, and we created the whole thing and recorded it pretty quickly. I mean, I wrote the lyrics over a long period of time, but we really just got in the creative flow and just let it happen, and it really took like 2 days. And then I had the song for like a year without really sharing it with hardly anyone, and basically my mental advisors, as I call them, which are these conditioned thought patterns, were just like telling me that it wasn't good enough and it wasn't ready and it wasn't like I shouldn't put it out yet and I should wait. And I mean, I was kind of waiting for my full album to be ready, but I heard someone's quote that was just like along the lines of we shouldn't judge our own creations too much, because most of the time we're our own hardest critic, and too many of us just are too hard on ourselves, and we judge everything that we create, and so we don't really put it out there. But like many of the most popular hit songs on the radio, the artists are often like, "Oh yeah, we created that in 10 minutes, and we thought it was crappy, but we just decided to put it out there, and then everyone loves it, you know." So any of you listening, I encourage you to really just put your expression out there, and if people are critical of it, who cares? You know, it's just a matter of being in that creative flow. And of course you want to do it well and put love and care into it, but I think we really got to not take ourselves too seriously.
Like
for sure, man. For sure. Why it's where it's awesome, and that's from personal experience. So that's where it's always even more beneficial to be able to hear it and to see the fruits of your labor come to fruition. It's something to share. Like, that's super inspirational stuff. So, Phil, at this point, there's a lot of callers in the queue for this show, which is good. This is a popular topic, and we may run past the hour mark, but we're going to see. But before we do that, I want to be able to go back to what we were talking about before, and that was the idea of even doing some. If you want to try some freestyling now, I think Jessica wants to get in on that, and I might be able to dip my toes in it as well. It's something I've been opening myself up to as well. Should we do that, Phil? Do you want to set up for something that we got going on that we can manifest and sort of stream in? All right.
That's a yes.
That's what that means.
I was guessing in beatbox.
Brilliant.
Cool, man.
I'll open up the gates with some beatbox.
All right, I'll jump in, and then Phil, you can start it off, and Jessica, you can get inspired by Phil. Who's jumping in?
I don't know. I'm just waiting for someone
All right,
to jump
so
go for it, Phil.
Let's facilitate this here freestyle. I don't think I've actually done like a full on jam cipher via the internet before.
No, it's a little bit different. We can manage. We can
do this.
We don't need beats in the background.
Yeah, the beat
I don't
is
need
a little
beat
bit
slow.
Yeah, the beat might just create audio. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, so Phil, just go ahead and you can start doing something, right. And then Jessica or I will just go in and that makes more sense.
Way to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's take a breath.
Yo, I'm gonna hop off the cliff. Who knows what happens? Who knows what if? I'm sitting here with a picture like just that is my peanut butter. You know, I'm just trying to channel through, got my channels wide open, and you know that I'm not smoking any dope, and I'm smoking that prana that is the source of all energy. Gotta focus on the melody, 'cause that's the healing remedy. And you know that I might want to bring down my pace of my flow, 'cause that would allow for more spaciousness. I'm aligning with the graciousness of the spaceships. Yeah, the spaceships coming with the signal, and they are telling me that my light's on like a pediddle. Yeah, it's all a cosmic riddle. Gotta stay focused like Malcolm in the middle. Squeeze between your little bro and your older bro. I'm just sitting here trying to let the volcanic flow that is called the pyroclastic. Everything's fantastic if you are malleable like elastic. Yes, fantastic. And I'm going to put it in plastic. Psych, I'm going to put it in my reusable bag when I go to the store. Everything's beautiful, yeah, times 4. That would be like the medicine wheel. And you know that we all got some skills. Got to put your skills into those drills like you at soccer practice. Focus on your axis. Yeah, you get access like an access code. And you know we each hold down a node. You know I hang out with the gnomes. They tell me secrets and they whisper in my dome, telling me how to use those mushrooms. Yeah, you could hop across like a toadstool. You know, I'm just an old fool trying to skip out on school, 'cause we skipping school and we chilling right out back, smoking some reefer, not any of the crack. Yeah, I'm going so crazy. I'm trying not to be lazy, but I got to keep my mind free from the hazy, 'cause it broadcasts on the TV screen. TV simply tell lies to your vision. Gotta focus on your mission. Keep it going and use the most precision. Yes, you gotta focus on your intuition. That is your internal radio system. Actually, I mean, it's a GPS system. 'Cause if you don't got it, then all the signs you missed. I'm about to pass the mic and get out the way and let the universe play. So happy Sunday.
Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way, let the universe play. Opening up to the higher dimensions. Gonna give this to you. Gonna let the lessons flow from one tip to the other of the iceberg. Flip it into the other. Gonna know that when you step into the flow, it's all about the mojo. Gonna take it so, bro. Gonna take it to the next dimension. Gonna bring the technology to the ascension of our internal self, of the wisdom that we carry, the keys that we're gonna have to marry, of our willpower, of our right to step into the divinity of our light, because we are the Jedi who are coming from the next level of ascension, stepped into our mission, gonna give it to ya with the ambition to see the fruits flowing and gonna keep on knowing, because that's where we're going. And when we can connect with each other and we can know that each one of us is another brother from the same mother, from the Pachamama of the Mother Gaia, letting the spirits flow, letting them take us higher, passing it over to Jessica so that she can rest us off, so that she can bring in the Mother Goddess and let the Divine Feminine flow. Let the Divine Feminine flow. Let us remind us what we know.
Releasing all fear, the peach from the tree speaks from the easy place of the seasy, the sea across from me sits this one is another one of me, and across the lens to which we see, we breathe easily, infinitely into this space of dimensional race, the rat race, up into the next realm, into our own truth, into our heart space, is where we're going to learn how to transcend race. We're going to learn to transcend space, how we're going to learn, it's how we're going to turn, it's how we're going to earn, it's how we're going to burn, it's how we're going to feel it, it's how we're going to reel it in. We're going to eat that fish. We're going to feel the dish of the earth, which is giving us this one wish of bliss in timelessness. Mwah! That's my kiss.
Yes.
Get out the way,
delicious.
let
the universe play.
Get out the way, let the universe play.
Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way.
Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way, let the universe play. Get out the way, let the universe play.
Play.
All right, there you go. Right on. Good job, team. Good job, team.
High fives all around.
Mission accomplished. Digital high five. No, good. The people listening to that were helping us channel that one through too. So
that was fun.
That was awesome. Co-creation in the moment. Awesome. All right. Well, Phil, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure reconnecting with you once again here on the radio show. And we're gonna switch things over. We're gonna see if we can get on a couple other voices before we wrap things up here on this episode. And reminding everyone that they can connect with Phil at Phil. Run a search on Phil, PHIL. Osophical, OSOPHICAL on Facebook, and the same phil-osophical.bandcamp.com to check out his new stuff, and you can contribute and get it for yourself and to take the inspiration with you and to let his inspiration inspire you further. So that is the idea, aspire to inspire, collective inspiration all around. Phil, thank you so much. Is there any last words that you would just like to share with all of our beautiful friends out there?
Yeah, I'm really grateful that you invited me on the show again, brother. I really appreciate all that you do and all that you be. And thank you, Jessica, for sharing your magic here. I'll just specify that I have an artist page on Facebook, which is where I post daily inspirational videos and pictures and whatnot, and then I have my personal page, which is where I post like blogs and my just thoughts and whatnot, and then I've got like 400 YouTube videos if you feel like looking at some of the stuff I've done in the past. I'm happy to connect, and I really feel 2015 is already an epic year, and it's up to each of us to really step into our true selves this year. And I encourage all of you to do and be that in whatever way feels good. And I'll be launching this big 88-day journey next week. So please stay connected if you want to be a part of that. And peace, love, gratitude. Aho mitakiase.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Phil. Thanks again, man, and we'll see you in the future. Much love.
Much love.
Take care, brother.
Peace.
All right. So, according to my blog talk, which may or may not be accurate, I think there's only about 8 minutes left in the show. I'm going to round it up and say we got about 10, give or take. But either way, we're going to make the most of it. But I do have to go back and just remind you guys that there is the opportunity for you guys to win some free shift buttons, as per usual, with this episode. And the way that how you can do that is by sending a message to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio and let us know that you're tuned into the show. Even if you're listening to it beyond the initial live broadcast and into the recording, you can do that to be able to help enter into the draw, to be able to help get your own small batch of shift buttons. And again, the shift buttons are tools to help you on your awesome adventures of being able to shift consciousness. If you check out the new video on my YouTube channel, the one about hacking the matrix and doing free hugs in Toronto, you see us using the shift buttons. These are specifically designed for all of us to be able to help give to people on the spot that will plant a seed of inspiration that will be able to help sync them up with this main website, with this episode of the show, theoretically. theoretically, and to be able to help invite them to the community and for them to be able to help spread the love even further and shifting the entire level of consciousness that we are all experiencing this reality through. So again, if you want to order those at any time, go through the main website, paradigmshiftcentral.com/buttons and also /buttons quick order to do it the easy way. And of course, inviting anyone who would like to be able to contribute to this project in the multiple ways that you can, such as donating as a monthly supporter. I'll just emphasize this because this is a key thing. If you like this program, if you want to be able to support it, and you're wondering how you can do it, one of the ways how you can be able to help sustain the ongoing production involved with this project, which is a fair amount, to be able to help make this happen, and it's for a good cause, it's for a good reason, to bring all of us beautiful people together, post and pre-production, is to donate for only a couple dollars a month, whatever works for you, and you can do that by signing up as a monthly contributor for the Paradigm Shift Central project at paradigmshiftcentral.com/donate. So again, stuff like that helps support the ongoing production of the show, and also helps support the ongoing free shift buttons that we hand out every week. So much love to everyone who is already contributing and donating to the show, and the other way, of course, you can do it is by purchasing and ordering your own Open Your Heart shirts, and of course you can find the links for those in the Blog Talk show notes as well, teespring.com/openyourheart. Once we reach our goal of 25, that will be able to help raise more funds for the community as well and continue the ongoing evolution of this project as we continue to share the inspiration and manifest physical paradigm shift communities all across the globe. Amazing things happening. Thank you so much to everyone who is listening and who is a part of the shift where you are. So with that said, we're going to try bringing on a couple of the callers. Moonman T I've had on mute for a while. Shout out to him. You can find him at Instagram.com/Moonman T, I believe, give or take. And I'll include it in the show notes as well. And as well, anybody else who's been on the show will include in the show notes. So we're going to bring on a caller from area code 512. Caller from area code 714. I think they were on the queue before that. So caller from area code 714, we're going to bring you on, and we're going to have to see where this goes. We're going to have an after-party hangout as well. We may go a little bit into the after recording of this to be able to record some bonus stuff of people on the air to give them a chance. And those of you who are listening live, it will cut off the 2-hour mark. Those of you who are listening in the future, you will be able to hear the full version. Of course, this show is available online afterwards on this link and also at youtube.com/SkullBabylon, so subscribe to that. So, moving into caller from area code 714, we're going to bring you onto the air. So, caller from area code 714, bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go.
Yo,
hello,
guys.
Hey, caller, welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio. Please introduce yourself and what it is you would like to bring to the show.
My name's Kevin from Huntington Beach, California, and I would like to make everyone have the best day ever for the rest of their lives. You down for that? Who's down for that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I want everybody who's listening right now to say out loud, I want to have the best day ever every single day for the rest of my life. Everyone say that.
I am having the best day of my life, and I'll continue to have the best day of my life for the rest of my life.
There you go. Nice. You got it, Jess. You're on it. You're on game.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. So, tips for being awesome.
Sweet.
So, I'm going to kind of use the Socratic method. I'm going to ask you guys questions and to help, kind of get the gears flowing. But, so all human beings are trying to escape what? What are all human beings trying to escape?
Suffering?
Perfect. Or fear, suffering, fear, pain, anger. Yeah. And all human beings want to be on that what frequency? They want to be on the frequency of?
Love.
Boom, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Bonus point.
Now, what is one of the highest... now, in our holographic universe, we are all condensed versions of what?
Light.
Perfect. Yeah, Jess. I like you already. Okay. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about myself. So I'm 22. I started my spiritual path when I was about 18. One of the ways I did it was through martial arts and yoga. And I kept doing martial arts and yoga, trying to attain that inner peace, but there was something missing. And part of it was also I'm an empath. That's my psychic thing. I'm an empath. So to all my empaths out there, listen up, because I know the struggle of being an empath. People who are empaths, they have a tendency to confuse other people's emotions with their own emotions, especially negativity. Mm-hmm. So this technique I'm going to share with you in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it will help you a lot. Okay.
All right. Let me just set this up before we get into the full details. So for everyone listening to this, given the opportunity that we have of a lot of awesome people calling in, we're going to extend this episode into a bonus edition for the broadcast, meaning that those of you who are listening to it live, it's going to cut off for you guys. So apology for that, but you'll be able to hear the full recording that we continue to do beyond in the recording of this, be it on Blog Talk or on YouTube once we finish wrapping that up. And I'll try to simultaneously get the after party hangout going, but we got 2 more callers. So caller from area code 512 and caller from area code 954. If you guys want to stay on the line, we'll bring you on after this. So after Kevin. But passing it back to you, Kevin. And of course, thank you so much to everyone who's called in. And I will just say, as the show's wrapping up, this week's winners for the shift buttons are Christine. So congratulations to Christine. She's one of our awesome community members, and I know she's going to be super excited about that. And of course, anybody else can order those tools for hacking the matrix and being awesome and implementing your awesomeness into your reality, and you can find those at the main website, ParadigmShiftsCentral.com. So that's pretty much it. And again, thank you so much. Thank you to Phil. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in live. We're going to continue this into the bonus recording of this broadcast, and passing it back to Kevin, and we'll go from there. So Kevin, go ahead.
Also, everybody, since we are going to get cut off, I do recommend listening to this, because if you do this practice, I promise you will enter the divine flow. All right? The divine flow is when your mind, your body, and your spirit become one, and then your heart and your mind become one, and then you basically operate from your heart chakra, and then you can use your third eye chakra as a tool to download information, store information, and whatever else your third eye chakra does. And so, real fast. So I did my martial arts yoga journey. I was getting places, but I wasn't getting that mind body spirit connection. And then one day, I went to a health expo, and they had a aura analyzer. Basically, they show you what your aura looks like, and everybody that was doing it was like, oh, they had like really good, nice auras. I did it. My aura was red. It was just completely red. I was stuck in my root chakra. That's not good. Like these people, I think they're Taiwanese, and they're very intuitive, and they're just like, oh my God, like we need to fix you, but they didn't know what to do. So they gave me a massage, and that was about it. And then, years go on, I become more and more depressed, and then I stumble across this thing. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called sun gazing. Mm-hmm. And here's what sun gazing does. Now, all your chakras are connected to your third eye chakra, okay? And what you do is you ground yourself to the earth during sunset and sunrise, and you directly look into the sun. This is safe. I promise you. I've done it. Now, during sunset and sunrise, there's no UV index because there's enough atmosphere and that's basically diffusing the UV index, so you're not going to burn out your cornea. If you want, there's a documentary on it called Sun Gazing. There's 2 parts, and they have an eye doctor analyze this dude's eyes, and I think they say something about NASA confirming the whole UV index thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Sorry, Kevin, I'm just going to jump in here. Real quick, we're in the last minute of the show, so again, just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and for those of you who are in the live chat, please post your profile links into the live chat so that you guys can continue to connect with yourself. And again, just putting out that final reminder for everyone who is listening, who has been listening live, to continue to take this inspiration further to lives, to be able to work on it within yourself and then share the inspiration to be able to help elevate everyone around you, being able to understand like how much we can change the world by leading by example. So embody the awesomeness within yourself, and then you'll be a mirror for other people to see the awesomeness within themselves. So that is a huge thing. So again, thank you so much to everyone who's been tuned in. You can find me at facebook.com/skullbabylon and youtube.com/skullbabylon. Add me there, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future. So passing it back to Kevin, let's continue. Here we go.
Okay. Now, and so every chakra holds certain energies. Now, your root holds fear. Your orange one, your navel holds shame. Is it guilt? Shame. I believe it's shame. And then solar plexus holds guilt. Heart holds grief. Throat holds lies. Your third eye holds judgment. And then your crown holds worldly attachments. Okay, those are the negative things. Okay? Now, what sun gazing does is you're, like Jess said, we're all condensations of light. And the sun, or the soul, that's I say in Spanish, and that's how I prefer to say it. It's a clairaudient thing, because this actually helps develop your psychic senses, all 6 of them. And then, okay, so when you gaze into the star, what happens is you're downloading light information, and that light information is going to your chakras, and it's pushing out your negativity that you hold in every chakra. Now remember, every chakra connects to your third eye. So every negative emotion you've ever experienced stored in every chakra is stored as a memory that's been compartmentalized in your brain. And so what happens is, like what Phil was saying earlier about diving deep into your subconscious mind and cleaning house. I call it cleaning a bookshelf, because you hold many books inside of you. Now, when you're going through and cleaning your bookshelf, this is because sun gazing makes you very self-reflective, and so you're going to be going through old books of your life, old chapters that you may have not forgive yourself about. And sometimes you'll open up a book and you'll open up a memory, a compartmentalized memory that you decided to store because it was too painful for you, and then all of a sudden you'll experience that memory as a memory flash, as well as the emotions that are associated with that. Then you write out the pain, and then you let go of it through your breath, and then your vibration rises because you let go of that negativity. Now with sun gazing, the max limit you can stare into the sun is 44 minutes. I got to about 23 minutes and then I stopped, because once you hit 44 minutes, you basically become a breatharian. And if you know anything, I don't know, do you guys know what breatharians are?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept. Yeah, like sort of just like nurture and getting the nutrition one needs from like the prana and the etheric energy that's everywhere through breath and through like conscious imagination.
Yes. Now also another fun fact about myself is when I was 13 years old, my pineal gland completely calcified. It stopped bioilluminating. So, and then I started sun gazing when I was 21. I decalcified it, and when I decalcified it, I heard a pop, like inside my head, and then I felt an artery from my heart to my third eye connect, and my heart was pumping chi, vata, prana into my third eye, giving life to my third eye. And so then I was able to start psychically downloading information, all that jazz. What's that noise?
Can you hear that, really? Oh, man, I'm sorry. That's like me, like, eating a cracker. I apologize. Please, continue.
Okay. Please don't do that.
Sorry, dude. It's all you.
And so, okay, and then, where was I? Sorry, pardon my language. So I had that connection with my heart to my pineal gland, and then I started synthesizing my own DMT. I started producing my own DMT in my head so I can basically heightened my perception of the world. I entered what some people call the waking dream, where you start decoding reality differently. You start, what I said earlier, you enter the divine flow of life. You see the editor notes of God. Or, I don't like saying the word God, because the word God sounds a lot like the word dog. You know, if you see that, you know, because words have two meanings, sort of. I like to call source consciousness, I like to call the divine masculine Yah, Y-A-H, and the divine feminine Ah, A-H. And if you think about it, those two noises, Yah and Ah, are the first noises a child makes. A baby. They're like, ah, 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 calling for their mom. Anyway. And so, yeah, if you want to enhance your quality of life, enter the divine flow, escape fear, get on that love vibration, which is also the light vibration, you should practice sun gazing. Excuse me. And I promise you, within a month and a half of practicing every day, you will notice results. You will notice an improvement in your life that is so profound. Especially, it depends. Now, the more you've been suffering, the more profound the experience. So, and yeah, you will be able to, you will have an easier access talking to your higher self. I talk to my higher self all the time. Let's see. And, one of the other things you need to know, okay, while you're doing this, I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but get off fluoride. No fluoride ever. Okay? If you have fluoridated toothpaste or you're drinking tap water, if you're...
Oh, still there, Kevin?
Can you please stop making that noise?
There's nothing, I don't know what was coming through that time. So.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that's gone now. Anyway, So yeah, get off the fluoride, no tap water, no fluoridated toothpaste. Because this is the process of healing your third eye. It heals your third. One of the cool things is it synchronizes both hemispheres of your brain. So you got that analytical masculine side of your brain and that creative divine feminine side of your brain. Just they become one, and it's like when they become one, it's like they become source consciousness, because source consciousness is androgynous. It has no gender. Also, so if you're a man, this will help you embody the divine masculine, and if you're a woman, it will help you embody the divine feminine. And then it also and if you're a man, it will also help you embody the divine feminine, and if you're a woman, it will help you to embody the divine masculine. But since you're a man, you're going to be focusing on the divine masculine, because you are male, your soul is male. Real fast, once you unlock clairvoyance, you can sometimes see other people's higher selves. You don't see it per se, you sense it. And an interesting thing about homosexuals is that homosexuals, it's basically a opposite gendered soul in an opposite gendered body. So a male soul inhabiting a female body, a female soul inhabiting a male body. That's for true homosexuals. Okay? So just a little piece of information. I thought I'd throw that out there. Have you ever seen someone's pineal gland light up?
Not unless like in an altered state of consciousness, so to speak.
Well, yeah, it has to. That's kind of how it works. When you see someone's pineal gland light up, you see it in their eyes. Basically, it looks like someone is shining a flashlight through their eyes. Their eyes glow.
Oh,
it's crazy. It is the most beautiful thing you'll ever see. And when you're connecting with someone spiritually, or you're having a very, let's say you're connecting with someone spiritually, I found this this is going to sound weird, okay? I don't know what your relationship is with marijuana, but marijuana, it does induce the DMT state, as I call it, where your pineal gland turns on. If and only if you are with spiritually evolved people and you don't get the munchies, you don't eat. Because once you eat, it grounds you and then you exit that state. So, yeah, just that's my personal experiences with it. Anyway.
Cool. Well, Kevin, I'm just gonna say, just a couple more tips we'll get in, and then we're gonna switch things over to a couple more callers that we got on. But this is all key stuff. Like especially the sun gazing. Like that's definitely something that I would encourage people to explore and experience. Because I mean, like rather than just like dismissing it, it's something that you can actually experience. And again, just doing it in a safe way is the advisable way. But again, like it's kind of one of those ideas that. As you sort of practice something like sun gaze, you sort of like open yourself up to this practice of being able to like take in and embody like more light, which is an interesting thing, which is like at first when you sun gaze, you're just like, oh, I can only do it for like a couple minutes. But then like as you get more experience with it, like you're actually expanding your practice of being able to take in more light, whatever that means, you know, metaphorically and literally. But so just passing back to you, any closing points you would like to share?
Let's see.
Okay. We'll save the rest for another day.
I know. Yeah, I'll call back in another day and I'll drop some more knowledge.
For sure.
When you sun gaze, also you're gonna start detoxing. You're gonna have like turbid urine or cloudy urine, really weird fecal matter coming out. You might pass liver stones. That happened to me. I passed liver stones because I held a lot of pain in my solar plexus, and your solar plexus is associated with your liver and your spleen, I believe. Your spleen. Anyway, and so I had liver stones, and so I passed liver stones, and then that's when my solar plexus pardon my language, it really started spinning. I would like to read you guys a poem that I wrote. Real fast, and then
go for it.
Okay, so I hope one day we can rage in this Aquarian age and make the world a better place by unifying the human race under that 432 hertz bass. So I wrote this poem for you out of the blue. Thank you.
That's nice.
Cool. Great on, man. Sums it up quite neatly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, to all my musicians out there, you better know what 432 hertz is. You better tune to that frequency because that is the frequency of source consciousness. It's the frequency of the universe. That's the sound of Om, O-M, or A-U-M, Om. That's what 432 hertz is. And it's in the key of A, I believe. And then support bees, buy bee products. We need the bees. Without them, we're screwed. Fun fact: the bees told me this. Okay. Because once you start sun gazing, your psychic senses kick in, and you can start communing with nature. If you buy bee products, you gain good karma points. So, just a little fun fact. So yeah, save the bees. My homeboy, Dr. Patrick Flanagan, he's basically the reincarnation of Nikola Tesla. He let's say you don't want to sun gaze, but you still want a little boost, you want a little oomph. He has Fibonacci pyramids, and so you can get a meditation pyramid from him. Sit in that will help. That Fibonacci pyramid creates an energy field. You sit in that, it charges you up. You notice it within 5 minutes. Your brain goes, your hemispheres sync. Your mind goes still. Your breathing increases. And let's see. Support farmers markets. Don't support Monsanto. Hug a tree. We love big hugs.
Yeah.
And then hey, suntan naked, all right? Suntan naked. Because when you suntan, you're charging your chakras, and if you're suntanning naked, you're charging your root chakra, and so that's beneficial. There's one more thing I want to tell you guys. Hold on. One of the things I practice is when I see somebody in a wheelchair or I see a child, what I do is I take my energy from my third eye, my crown, and my root, and I basically condense it into my heart, and then I shoot a laser beam out through my heart at that person in a wheelchair, and I shoot it into, or that disabled person, and basically I kind of just give them a little blessing through my heart chakra in the form of like a little love laser beam. And then I also do that with children too, and newborn babies. Sorry. Real fast. When you do that to a child, to a newborn baby, you will feel them. We all know the phrase, the vibes you give out are the vibes you get back. When you give that love vibe or that love laser beam to a child, especially a baby, they'll send it back to you. And it'll take about maybe 1 to 3 seconds. And when you get that, and depending how tuned in you are, you don't even have to be tuned in, and you will still feel it. And when they'll send it back to you, because a baby is like I don't know how to explain it, but their energy is they're like little balls of love. Let's just say that. And when you send them a little love vibration, a little love laser beam, they'll send it back to you about tenfold, and it's made me tremble and almost break down and start crying because it's so pure and so beautiful that it's indescribable. Let's see. Yeah, there's one more thing I want to tell you. What else? So everybody here is familiar that there's a manipulative force trying to suppress our consciousness. I call this mainstream media, the government, whatever. Are you guys familiar with numerology?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, so on. It goes 1 through 9, and then 1 through 9, and then 1 through 8. The 6th letter of the alphabet in the first 1 through 9 series is F, okay? The second letter in the second 1 through 9 series, the 6th letter of that is O, and the third one is X. So 666 sounds a lot like Fox News. Okay? Just keep that in mind.
Right.
Let's say that Fox News they are not having the best day ever, and they are not giving people the best day ever. And so I just want to throw that out there because we do see in our unconscious mind, we see in numbers, we perceive reality very, very uniquely. We perceive the holographic world. And part of the holographic world is that numbers represent letters. And so FOX looks a lot like 666. And when you play tic-tac-toe, X's and O's, 3 in a row, you're still seeing 666 on a subconscious, unconscious level. So don't play tic-tac-toe, or else you're going to be bombarding your psyche with 666. Don't watch Fox News because FOX 666. That is a low vibrational field. So yeah, there's that, and that's about it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, so yeah, that's some good things to cover in there, and definitely, I'm sure there's always going to be more to talk about, and we can definitely catch up on future episodes. So, cool, man. All right, well, Kevin, thank you so much. And do you want to share if people can find you on Facebook or whatever? Where can they do that?
I'll give you my guys' Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
I'm gonna make a YouTube channel where I just talk about stuff like this and whatnot, but I'm working on getting a really high-resolution camera. I'll probably get it in March at the latest. But my Instagram is KevvyKev, KEVVYY KEVV. You can find that in I was the person who commented on your page saying, what's your guys' number? So, yeah, that's me. That's my personal Instagram, so you'll see some personal photos of my friends, but you also see like some consciousness expanding things. Like I got the Flower of Life on there, and I got Metatron's Cube on there. I like posting vegan related things. So
cool.
You'll see like pictures of food, and it'll be like #vegan.
Awesome.
I could get into the whole diet thing, but I don't want to do that because some people, they like their meat, and I respect that. Just don't eat fast food, okay? If you don't eat fast food, you're doing better than 50% of America. If you're eating grass-fed food, cruelty-free animals, you're doing better than about 80% of America. And remember, save the bees, support farmers markets. Oh, just real fast. The fruit you get at the grocery store does not even come close to the fruit you get at a farmer's market. So just throwing that out there.
Some practical tips for being awesome. Go shop at farmers markets. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Kevin. Well, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it. And definitely we shall save the bees one day at a time.
Okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, man.
Yes.
We'll be in touch.
Brendon.
Take care, man. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right. Okay. So, with that said, we do have a couple of callers who are still in the queue. Caller from area code 512 and caller from area code 954. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging in there with us, and we're going to bring you guys on, and we'll try to get this wrapped up. I would say with even the next 15-ish minutes, and if you guys will be able to concisely share whatever it is you want to share, and anything else, we'll save it for future episodes. And with that said, we will be wrapping up the episode, and we got an after-party hangout that we're multitasking with in the current now that we'll be switching over to. But again, we're going to bring on next caller from area code 512. So caller from area code 512, if you're ready, going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, caller, can you hear us?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Doing great. I'm actually working on getting my technical ready because I'm about to go to school.
Okay, you could be. There's the Hangout links, or we'll figure. There's technical issues with the Hangout link, but anyways, okay, Andy, getting straight into it. Just keeping things concise. What are some practical tips for being awesome that you want to share?
Well, I'll talk to you guys about it later, like when we're in the Hangouts. But for now, I'll be gone for a while. Okay,
so is there anything you want to share now? Oh, okay. Looks like Andy dropped. So, okay. All right. Andy's going to catch up with us in the Hangouts. That's cool. Okay, so that brings us into next caller from area code 954. So, caller from area code 954, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio now. Here we go.
Hey.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Paradigm Shift Radio.
My name's Deanna.
Oh, it's Deanna. Hey, Deanna.
Yeah. Hey. What's up?
Oh, just chilling out, having a good time, keeping it shifty. So, cool. Well,
yeah.
Deanna, this will be we'll be wrapping up the show here. But before we do, please, I know you were talking about calling in earlier, and I'm glad you did. So, what is there, practical tips wise, that you would like to share with our beautiful audience?
Well, I really believe with all my heart, being awesome has all about passion, love, and being yourself, because people won't love you if you're not yourself. There's so much hate towards fake people, and if you're just trying to be someone you're not just to fit in, it's it's not going to work, because real people want real, genuine people, not people who put on a show. And I think, like, part of the reason why so many people get called awesome these days is because there's not enough people being themselves and being true. They're just being the person that other people will want. And when it comes to being awesome, I really believe with all my heart, it's just doing what you love. It's being who you are. It's showing the world, hey, look, I can do this. You know, I can make this painting. I can sing this song really good. You know, when someone says, hey, you're awesome, they're complimenting you for your talents, for being who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was listening earlier about everything, what I had to say. I was like, what everyone had to say, that is. And, you know, I was thinking, like, maybe I don't need to call in, because it seems like they know what they're talking about already. So, but I just want to say, you know, being awesome is just awesome you.
Sure, yeah, I like that. The simplicity of it is, like, being awesome is being authentic. Ultimately, like, every expression of Source is awesome in its own way. So,
and like when you do something awesome.
Mhm.
And like when you do something awesome from Source, like, you know, how many people, like, I saw this girl and she made lightsabers out of crystals. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Like, how many Star Wars fans would want a crystal that acts like a lightsaber?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
that is awesome.
So awesome could also be from the Source, because how many times would you just be walking around and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, I have this crystal that glows, and ain't that awesome?
Cool. Well, Janet, are there any other practical tips that come to mind that we should share before we wrap up the show?
Besides being yourself, I really think awesome is just a compliment from soul to soul, because just being awesome is just being you. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just what you do and who you are, and awesome can come in many different forms, from spiritual to a compliment to you to, like, anything. It's just awesome. You can make life awesome, or you can make it sucky. It's just your choice.
Everything is awesome. Yay!
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Jana, for joining us here. And I believe we're about ready to wrap up the show. Jessica, I'll ask you in a second if there's anything you would like to say before we do that. And I just want to go over kind of like the list that I shared at the beginning, just sort of reread it and let people sort of soak in some of the ideas here and allow them to sort of think on their own time a little bit more about each one of them, what each one of them means to them. So this is a kind of the compilation of what I read earlier. But again, practical tips for being awesome from my perspective, at least. So being yourself, which is what we were talking about here. Being forgiving to yourself and others. Being intuitive. Being more clear. And this involves like clearing out the blockages, clearing out the gunk that prevents us from doing this. This goes hand in hand with diet and decalcifying the pineal gland and so forth and so on. And being aware of our spiritual diet. That was something we didn't talk about too much earlier, but it's a key term that I sort of bring up is think about things in terms of that, in terms of our spiritual diet. What are we ingesting into ourselves? Are we watching news when we don't really need, like sort of negative stuff when we don't really need to be absorbing it, and just being more mindful in that level. So other things include exercise. Obviously, get out there, get your body moving. That's going to be an exciting way to be able to get you going. Being inspired is, of course, the number one thing that I like to share. Writing your dreams down and getting involved with your dream exploration habits and being able to experience the awesomeness of other dimensional realities. Writing your intention down, understanding that when you write things down, they manifest in a different way. Understanding how manifestation works. being altruistic and being friendly, helping people without expecting anything in return, love without attachment, helping build a physical community for conscious people where you are, helping build a paradigm shift community, and of course you can check out the main website for more information on that. Being bringing realities into being. That goes hand in hand with creating a paradigm shift community. Think about the idea that through creating a community, you create a space where this person and this person get to meet, where otherwise they wouldn't have gotten to meet. And you get to meet new friends, and you get to help create new realities on behalf of the bigger picture. So, using your wizard skills and tactics. This goes hand in hand with manifestation and visualization, being able to understand how we exist beyond the present moment, and being able to understand how we can align with future realities that already exist in a non-quantified or a non-collapsed state, but in a quantified potential of reality. Being mindful of our resources, not eating more than we need to, not using more than we need to, being able to share it and allocate it with people who could use it. Recycling and reusing of resources. Being a conscious leader is something that you can do, and understanding that leaders help create more leaders, encouraging people to be their own leader. Practicing martial arts, making art, creating a space for your creative expression, practicing creativity, creating on behalf of the ether, being more conscious of matter and something. Can't read my own writing there. Being brave, having an understanding, evolving our understanding of love. That will be a whole different another episode about like indigo adults and what love is and how we can sort of change our perception of it in terms of new relationships that we're sort of creating the foundations for, spiritual relationships. Noscite ipsum, know thyself. Connecting with nature, being open to spirit, being open to synchronistic messages coming through to you, be it numbers, be it things through the radio show, be it through the internet, be it through another conversation with a friend, anything that might help you sort of gain insight on your path and allow you to get there more efficiently to wherever it is that you need to go, be it now or the future now. Being comfortable, even in discomfort, being courageous, having the courage to try, loving unconditionally, developing foresight, augmenting our reality. That is something we didn't really get into. It's just a personal idea of sort of using our imagination to visualize things on top of our reality. I'll explain that more in a future episode. Synchronizing with technology and utilizing technology, be it through creative expression, be it through filmmaking, be it through social media, and sharing some of the things that we like that inspire us to be awesome, to help inspire other people to be awesome. Doing free hugs. Using cool gear like clothing and shift tools and the shift buttons and everything to be able to help create synchronistic adventures and moments. Being more psychic, using psychic self-defense, working with crystals, doing reality checks, that goes hand in hand with the lucid dreaming and so forth. Getting caught up to speed in terms of our understanding of topics such as sacred geometry, energy, crystals, infinity, Fibonacci, oneness, fractals, crystallization, the micro and the macro, as above, so below, space-time, and the field and the matrix that we exist within. Understanding the daemon concept, the idea that we are more than just our thoughts. We are actually the observer of our thoughts. We are sort of the soul that's sort of above the physical aspect of ourself that is sort of playing this experience, and the self that we are in is the character that we created to be able to experience this MMORPG, this massive multiplayer online role-playing game that we call reality, so to speak, in that sense. And of course, we're all just leveling up together and going on quests and obtaining new items and unlocking all sorts of awesome gear. So being one with the storm was another thing I had, and journaling and writing things down. And yeah, that's pretty much what I had to share. And of course, we had lots of other people. We had Zorananda talking a lot about being aware beyond the present moment, and I know he's got a lot more that he wants to share on future episodes, even just related to being awesome, of how to cultivate our sexual energies and tantra, and we'll get more into that in future episodes, of course, as well. And yeah, lots of awesome people. Phil being on the show, Moonman C, shout out to them as well, and shout out to Kevin, and shout out to Andy, who's briefly on here, and shout out to Diana, who is also here with us now. So with that said, I'll pass it over to Jessica. Jessica, what things do we want to be able to leave the audience with as we wrap up the final moments of the show here?
Beautifully synchronized. I have some closing thoughts that I prepared.
Yeah, by all means, go for it.
Okay, so one of the ideas that I had written down here, which kind of ties in with what we're embarking upon in terms of expressing our creativity and allowing our inspiration to lead us into new avenues of creativity is the releasing of fear. So one of these books that you and I actually came across recently is called Indigo Adults, and it was written by Kabir Haff and Ritama Davidson. And there's a couple quotes that I have here that I'd like to read in terms of inspiring and motivating us to move beyond our barriers of fear as we answer the call of our destiny. So here goes. Our collective, this is from page 65 in the book if you have it yourself, our collective unconscious holds a deep fear of persecution. It's not safe to be too creative, too bright, too much in your truth. Look at our history and what has happened to so many great people who've been speaking their truth. Jesus, Socrates, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and so many others. Your fear is very realistic. So the idea that as much as this statement provides validity to our fear, it also provides, the impetus for us to overcome it. And I have some notes here lending to the idea that the infinite nature of our beings is that we are all streaming one another's consciousness. We're individuals, but we're part of, the same spark, so to speak. So just as much as those beings were on this earth and they, risked their lives to do the same, whatever, I guess, our soul calls us to do, however extreme we go. But basically the idea that, we're all source, we're all God, or creation, knowing itself, loving itself. I think this is a quote from Albert Einstein, which is, energy cannot be created nor can it be destroyed. And then I have another quote here from the same book. This is on page 162. What we're talking about is the freedom to be yourself, the freedom to have your own mind and thoughts, and the freedom to find your own way and to be the conductor of your own life. We live in a free will universe. That is the nature of it. However, what we've chosen is to grab away parts of ourselves in order to learn through the experience of a so-called power struggle within ourselves, an internal power struggle that's reflected in the external world. So regaining our power, regaining our stance as divine, as expressions of divinity, expressions of creator, is essentially to come into a place of oneness within ourselves and accept our ability to vocalize. That's a huge thing. Just tonight, us having fun on the radio show and freestyling, throwing ourselves out there, whatever it is that feels exciting to you, whatever it is that feels authentic, whatever it is that feels truthful, transcending the fear of speaking. That is such a huge thing for a lot of us, especially, women, but also men too, and, just humans in general, speaking up for those who can't speak in the way that we can, for example, animals. Animal rights, activism and stuff like that. And so the next thought that I have here, the final closing thought, is the practical tip of trying something new. So going again into this idea that in order to transcend and overcome and liberate ourselves from these strongholds that we feel, these power struggles that are within us, involve us taking a look at our own mechanisms, taking a look at what has kept us stuck in a certain reality or a certain way of being. And in order for a new world to form, we must accept that destruction is very much a part of the process, just like a mother gives birth, and when she gives birth, her body becomes destroyed, but another life form is created. And there's another excerpt from the book, the final one. It's on page 39. And it says, here is a very useful metaphor. A man is in prison, and the prison is well regulated. Everything is controlled. Everything has its routine. It's very difficult to escape. But if there is an earthquake and suddenly everything is thrown into chaos, the routines get disrupted and the structures are broken. If a person is alert, he can escape much more easily at that moment. such a moment. There is chaos. There is upheaval in society. There is a breakdown of the old structures before the new structures are built. In this moment, the great forces of consciousness are available and are at work. If we can be alert, we can catch this moment. These are moments when the greatest transformations are possible. And so just to conclude all of that wordiness, it all starts with you. How much awesomeness, awesomefulness, awfulness are you ready and willing to step up into?
Cool. And before we end the episode, going back to like the original minutes of it, Jessica, did you still want to sing that song?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
I mean,
do you want me to do flowetry? Like I can freestyle something, or do you want me to actually play my guitar?
Whatever you feel called to do. Like, I mean, like the song that we were working on, even if you just want to sample it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, all right. Got to keep that promise. Those of you who are listening are going to be able to hear the song that Jessica is working on. And this is a song all about being awesome.
Really?
You tell me.
Okay.
All right. I mean, being awesome is being able to understand that things are a work in progress. So this is going to be a sample of a final product that you'll be able to hear eventually. It's a crystallization process. It takes some time. So Jessica's just setting up her guitar. So, and again, thank you so much everyone who's been calling in. There's a lot more that can be talked about, and I think a big thing in terms of being awesome again is going back to the simple idea of realizing that we already are, realizing that the awesomeness of this reality is hidden in plain sight, and being able to see beyond the illusions and remember our oneness and remember our multidimensional nature. For me, those are some of the key things that just make it so obvious that this reality is awesome and incredibly beautiful, and there's realms to it that we've yet to fully remember, but this one that we are in particular is a really special one. It's really cool, and it gives us a chance for being able to share music and broadcast it and crystallize it over the internet to be able to share the inspiration with you. So Jessica, I'll pass it over to you, and we'll finish off the show with this. So
cool.
Here you go.
And I just have to say that, I do enjoy sharing my music, even in the rough stages, because I think there's something beautiful about that, too. So here goes. The song is called We Are Awesome. And let me just double check I've got the capo on the right thing. Yeah, okay, I think good. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can just sing it slightly differently. Or wait, I think I had it over here. Let me try this. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
So here we go. I am awesome. You are awesome. We are awesome. Yes, we are. 'Cause we are all made of stars. We don't need to go hang out in bars. Oh, no. We could go hang out in the snow. Imagine, where we could go. Following our awesomeness. Following our awesome bliss. Oh yeah. Following our awesome cosmic kiss of our destiny. Yeah. And there's some more verses. I'm amazing, you're amazing, you are blazing, blazing like a star. A giant diamond ring of conscious beings. I like to paint with the rainbow of my heart. Unicorns and fairy dust are where it starts. Unicorns and fairy dust are where it starts. It's kind of rough, but we're loving it. So following our awesomeness, following our awesome bliss, following the cosmic kiss of our destiny. That's it.
Woohoo! Yay!
Fun.
Good job, Jessica. Awesome. Cool. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of another exciting and inspirational episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us once again. And of course, if you enjoy this program, if you enjoy the energy that is put into being able to help create it, create the space for it, and being able to share it with you, then please continue to show your support by co-creating the future of this project through simple contributions, be it through ordering buttons, that's one way, by donating for a couple dollars a month if you can do that, or whatever works for you, or ordering some of your conscious clothing. You can find that at teespring.com/open your heart. And of course, all the other links are through the main website at paradigmshiftcentral.com. So thank you so much, everyone, for being awesome, for embodying the awesomeness, and for being able to share your awesomeness with the rest of the world, so all of us can be able to continue to step into more of the awesomeness that we are, and that's going to be able to create one heck of an awesome future. So, Jessica, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Yes. Release the fear, 'cause the time is near, 'cause we're clear. In the break of a new day, we say and sway in such mysterious ways. It's okay. Just let go. The flow will bring it to the show, and when it does, you'll know. So let go and breathe.
There you go. All right. So thank you again, Jessica. You can find Jessica on Facebook. Just run a search on Jessica Starshine. That will bring it up, and you can find me at facebook.com/SkullBabylon. So we're wrapping up the episode here. Once again, join us next time for another consciousness shifting, expanding episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. Jessica, join me in saying farewell to the internet. So
farewell, Internet.
Bye, Internet. Bye.
See you next time.
We love you.
We love you.
Stay awesome. Be awesome. You already are. You already are. All right, bye guys. One love.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. If you would like to connect with people where you are and continue the conversations further, then check out paradigmshiftcentral.com/buttons to order your supply of shift buttons to share with people to help invite them to this global project, while also helping make new friends and building local community where you are. Shift buttons are tools to hack the matrix and tap into the synchronistic nature of reality to accelerate our collective awakening. Enter the promo code PSR into your order to receive additional bonus buttons to your supply. Thank you again, and one love.